Hey guys, it's Daniel here, back with a new movie review, and today I'm going to review a movie that I'm not sure a lot of people even knew came out. It's a Spanish-made, yet English-dubbed animated comedy movie called Mummies. So Mummies takes place in an Egyptian world where one mummy named Tut has retired from his life as a chariot racer and wants to live in this world peacefully with his brother Sekhem. But he comes across the princess of that world named Princess Nefer, who wants to get married, but Tut is picked as her future husband accidentally, not on purpose. But on the other side of this little doorway is modern-day London, where a rude, money-hungry, treasure-hunting man named Lord Sylvester Cannabis wants to use the Egyptian treasures from this world for his new expedition at the London Museum. So he steals a royal wedding ring from that world that Tut was going to propose to the princess with, well, was forced to, and now it's up to Tut, his brother, and the princess to go to modern-day London to get the ring back. Lots of confusing interactions with modern-day London will be in their way. Now, I think this movie is kind of unknown, because I don't know if a lot of people knew that this movie came out, but I've known that this movie was going to come out ever since I saw the first trailer on Halloween Day, and that trailer was pretty good, but it didn't seem interesting. I guess I'd give it a watch just to review something that not a lot of people know, see if they could get into it. That is until I found out who was going to be in the movie. I mean, the voice cast is pretty decent. I mean, Hugh Bonneville and Sean Bean was going to be in it, so I like that. But the one that really shocked me is that the main character, Tut, is voiced by Joe Thomas. For those of you who don't know who Joe Thomas is, he played Simon Cooper on the famous Channel 4 comedy series sitcom The In-Betweeners, which is one of my favourite British sitcoms, and Simon was one of my favourite characters. He was one of the funniest and most relatable characters on the show. So when I found out that he was going to be in his first animated movie playing the lead, I was like, wow, Simon really has upped his game, hasn't he? I mean, I know it's not Simon, it's Joe Thomas, but his first animated movie. I guess I'll give it a watch just to see how he does. So I watched the movie, I waited until the movie came out, and I watched the movie, and I thought, well, since I haven't done a review in a while, and I'm kind of stuck trying to get to, like, the big things I'm reviewing, I might as well just review this one, just for the quick review. So, here's my quick review, if I can try to keep it quick, review of Mummies. And after watching the movie, what do I think of it? I have never been this mixed on a film, either in a long time or ever. Because as I sit here on this chair, surrounded by my room right now, I still have no idea how to feel about this film. It's just like average, it's like one of those average animated movies I've seen. Now, that's not to say it's bad, because there are some decent qualities and good qualities to say about the movie. First off, the animation isn't the greatest, but it's not the worst either. It definitely has a few colourful decisions to make, and the character designs are decently rendered. But other times, it did kind of look like a cheap CGI show from, I don't know, like Nick Jr. or CBeebies or Nickelodeon, whatever, like, children's channel shows has 3D shows. It did kind of look like that kind of animation, but slightly better. And the backgrounds were a bit 2D, and I like the 2D creative designs that they make for the backgrounds. The voice acting is okay as well. I mean, not every voice actor seems to do the best that they could, but they do come off as average. The best voice actor in the movie for me has to be Hugh Bonneville from Paddington and Downton Alley. I mean, I've seen him as Paddington, but I haven't seen Downton Alley as the main villain, Lord Carnaby. Even though I have mixed feelings about his character, Hugh Bonneville definitely brought the most energy to the role, and it seemed like he was the one that was having the most fun with his role. Plus, Sean Bean, like I said, was in this movie, and I only know him for playing Boromir in Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, so I thought he really worked as for Pharaoh, the, king of the Egyptian city. And then we have Joe Thomas as Tut. He was the one thing that I was looking forward to the most, and what do I think of him? Well, for the most part, I liked his voice acting, actually. I think he made the character come off as very likeable and sympathetic, and you do root for him, and it's mainly because of the voice. I definitely felt like he definitely got into the character. I mean, sometimes I felt like he kind of phoned it in just a teensy-weensy bit, and sometimes his voice doesn't match up to the lip-syncing of how the character speaks. But for the most part, I think he did pretty good, and I'm interested to see him get more voice work after this film, so well done, Joe! Well done! And speaking of Tut, I think Tut is probably the biggest saving grace for the movie, because he comes off as a very likeable, charming, and very charismatic protagonist. He has a good sense of humour now and again. He's a good big brother to his little brother. He gets to be a bit charming when he needs to be to the princess, and out of all the characters, I felt like he had the only good character arc throughout the entire movie. Like trying to go through bravery and facing against the fear of going like fast when he's on a ride or a car or a chariot, because he has a fear of doing it after his last chariot race and he got himself hurt. So you want to see him succeed, and he definitely carried the movie for me. He's a pretty lovely man. Plus Ed, like there's a DJ called Ed ends up coming across the Mummies, and he seems like a likeable character as well. I mean, I feel like he was added to the movie just to add a bit more hit to it, considering how there's like multiple songs throughout the movie, but I think he was pretty good. But with all the good things I have to say about this movie, there's still some things that are not very good about the movie. The biggest problem I had with this film was its story. Wow. It's not bad, but it is really, really, really generic. You can tick off all the cliches you can in the handbook and just claim a collector of cliches that they have. I mean, we have the protagonist who is a down-on-luck man but soon finds his bravery. We have the rebellious princess not wanting to marry but is being forced to, even though she has her own dreams but is forced to by his dad. You've got the typical villain who wants money and cash. You got the comic relief animal character, as you've seen in Frozen and Ice Age. Cute, adorable characters that need attention. Not understanding modern day world, even though you're from the past. Like, how many cliches can you tick off? And sometimes, and also, there are so many things about this story that, or at least the entire movie, I should say, that doesn't make sense. I mean, when you see the culture between the Egyptian world and modern day London world, the like juxtaposition between the two just doesn't make sense in some points. For example, there's a scene where Tut, Nafer and Sekhem go off shopping to try and get some clothes so that they can look more appealing in modern day London here, and Tut doesn't know how to pay with a debit card. I mean, of course, that's pretty much for comedy, so I like how he actually tries to put in his name, because he used to signing autographs when he was a chariot. I thought that was pretty good. But in the ancient world, if you've seen at the beginning of the movie, they actually use like Euro cash kind of note money stuff to pay for their own groceries, and even carry a grocery bag. So if they know how to do that, how do they not know how to do some of the stuff like here? Is it like a different type of thing compared to what the frick just happened? How do you movie? Wow. It's just, and there are many other points that I don't really want to talk about, because there's like so many. You could fill up like 4 pages in a handbook and count all those things that just doesn't make any sense. And the characters, besides Tut and a few others, aren't really that memorable in the big picture. I mean, Nafer is likeable at some points, but honestly, I'm not really sure exactly what her character behaviour is meant to be. I mean, is she meant to, because at one point she is a kind, caring princess, but other times she acts like a stuck-up teenager. I mean, maybe that's like a bit of commentary or something to how it's kind of a different, kind of take on the whole Disney princess vibe, but what exactly is the character to be like? It's almost like her direction is coming from 2 vastly different people. Okay, just be as kind as possible, you know? You really need to come off as a very likeable Hello? Oh, right. Apparently I'm taking a break, so just try to take this other director, not too, like, fondly, but, try not to be, like, affected by this character, because she will try her best. At least I'm sure of it. Bye!
Right, now, I don't know exactly what to do. You just act like me, or act like one of those, like, stuck-up girls from Stranger Things, and I think you'll do very fine. In the meantime, I'm going to, focus on my Twitter account. Hashtag change of tone to make this skit work in this Mummies review. Heart, 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 heart. Aww, the boys.
Tut's brother? Sekhem? I don't think he's a bad character. I think he's a really nice boy, but he doesn't get a bit of development. Like, honestly, you could take him out of the movie and it wouldn't change a thing, aside from when he has to save them from, like, a museum decoration at one point. But he doesn't really change as a character. He just remains the same throughout the movie. And his pet Croc, I also didn't feel like it was, like, very noticeable. I mean, he was cute and adorable, but not exactly a noticeable character. He didn't really keep my attention. He just comes alongside with the human mummy characters as he tries to beg the audience to make him look more fluffy and adorable. Like I said, in like films like Frozen and Ice Age, cute, adorable characters are usually the ones that get center stage. Half the time, I just forgot he was even in the film, which is kind of saying something considering how much screen time he gets. And the villain, Lord Carnaby, sometimes he can be funny, and I like Hugh Bonneville's performance. Like, sometimes his like interactions with his mother was pretty humorous, but he just doesn't seem that interesting of an antagonist. He's just a cliche, money-hungry, treasure-hunting, rich fame villain who just wants power. That's really about it. He's just a pretty cookie-cutter, vanilla bad guy to me. And the movie really isn't that funny either. I mean, it got a few chuckles out of me. Like, I like that one scene where Sekhem actually gets spray paint on a painting. He tries to clean it off. I won't give away the punchline of the joke, but that was pretty humorous. But other times, the comedy just falls flat because it's just quite kind of cringe-juicing watching these mummies trying to interact with modern-day London. It just doesn't come off as humorous. And the last thing that I will say about the movie that doesn't really work for me and comes off as a bit of a distraction at some points were all the forced use of pop songs throughout the entirety of this film. Now, don't go wrong, I liked some of the songs, like Nefe's song, I'm Today, that was a really good song. Some of the others were pretty good as well, but they just kind of come out of nowhere, like they just jump cut it in immediately. And is this movie trying to be a musical? Because really there's only like 3 musical numbers, and one of them is like a cover of the old song Walk Like an Egyptian, and yeah, it's okay, it's pretty good, but I honestly, like, if you're going to make it a musical, just make it a musical already. But if you're going to incorporate like famous songs that were a dime a dozen at the past without characters actually singing them, and just go ahead and put those in. You can't have your cake and eat it too. So yeah, as I sit here in this room, I still don't know how to feel about this movie. Like, this is probably the most well, average movie I've ever reviewed on this channel. I don't think it's bad, but I don't think it's that great either. It's kind of all over the place and just not very that special. I mean, I liked some parts about it, but the other ones just didn't really land for me. I'll admit it's short. It was like 90 minutes long, but it felt like an hour, so it definitely kind of flied by a bit. But I guess that's kind of a problem because not really much happens, and yet it flies by. How does that happen at the same time? But overall, it's kind of hard to think about what I think about the movie, so I'm just going to give it, I'm going to give it the most midpoint I can on my grading, and that's a 2.5 stars out of 5. Like, literally, like 50% of the half score is like that. It's not a bad film, but it's not a good film either. It's just average. I mean, if you don't go see it, you won't really like have to throw a tantrum because it comes off as a very mediocre movie in some points. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Daniel, it's just a kids movie, leave it alone. But as many critics have said online, using the phrase, it's a kids movie for a mediocre movie is not that good of an excuse for a film to be quite weak. If you enjoyed the movie, that's fine. I will support that. But for me, it's average. But anyway, what do you think about the movie? Do you like it? Do you hate it? And what's the most average movie you've ever seen? Let me know in the comment section below. I'm Daniel, reviewing movies, TV shows, doing videos, trying to get some more reviews done. And until then, peace out, man.